Hello, I'm Chris Villiers. I'm responsible for portfolio management at Respira. So my role is to ensure that we get maximum value out of the Respira carbon project portfolio for our stakeholders. And the stakeholders are our investors, the projects themselves and their associated communities, and also for buyers. The Respira investment strategy has three main elements to it. And at its core are the long-term offtake agreements that we enter into with project developers that underwrite the carbon value in the projects and give the project developers the certainty they need and allow them to get financing. Secondly, there is the project portfolio itself, which gives an attractive, diversified and risk-assured product to carbon credit buyers. And both these elements are underpinned by prudent risk management, and that combines both the payment on delivery model that we have that ensures that we're not too exposed to early stage project risk, and also the market hedging strategies that we have to avoid market risk in what is a relatively volatile market. So we've put a lot of thought into the types of projects that are suitable over time for companies that have entered into long-term decarbonisation commitments, and we've built the portfolio accordingly. So in the near term, the emphasis is on avoidance projects, avoidance credits, and in particular forest protection or REDD+ projects. And the reason for that is that they can deliver significant impact, both from a climate perspective and community perspective, at relatively low cost and in the near term. However, over time, we'll be adding a larger number of removals projects to the portfolio. So that could be projects such as afforestation, reforestation, soil carbon or blue carbon. And they are appropriate for companies that have entered into net zero strategies, where they need to use removals credits in the long term to offset residual emissions. So the Respira carbon project portfolio is very diversified in terms of project type and geography. It amounts to nearly 20 million tonnes now, and we have a pipeline of 3 times that. And to give you a sense of, to give some context, for 20 million tonnes, that represents the equivalent of the annual emissions from about 5 million UK households. And these projects are already delivering both climate and community impact. So as an example, we have 3 different community-based REDD+ or forest protection projects in Africa. And they are now making payments to communities to protect their forests, to stop them being degraded. And so what's been in the past a constraint for these communities, the forest being a constraint or a liability, has now been turned into an asset. We're also creating a lot of employment opportunities across the portfolio. And one eye-catching example is our large blue carbon project in South Asia that has created already 10,000 employment opportunities for local people, and will continue to do so through the coming decade while we are supporting that project. So demand for carbon credits is coming from corporates who have entered into long-term decarbonisation targets or net zero targets, and that's coming from right across the economy. So not just the energy-intensive or hard-to-abate sectors such as power generation and transport, but also from the fashion sector, consumer, retail, financial services and technology. And they are all being pushed by both their investors and their consumers or customers to act on climate. And part of that strategy, in many cases, is using carbon credits to compensate for their emissions. And for Respira, our role is to provide a high quality and risk-assured product to these customers so that they can use those carbon credits with a high degree of confidence.